it's usually like in hindsight, okay, I was
Mm.
already burned out.
Mm.
But anyway, so these are the things that we as from Virtua Solutions Outsourcing are helping our clients with. So Virtual Solutions, so we're all about outsourcing, and this is one of the things that you can do as a startup founder to kind of scale your startup, scale your business so that you can focus on your core tasks. So Francis, first off, before anything else, right? What is outsourcing?
Well, in order to define outsourcing, you have to understand what sourcing is. Kidding. No. Um, Outsourcing comes from the Latin word out, meaning outro. I'm kidding too. But when you say outsourcing, this is the practice of hiring. When you hire external professionals or teams to handle businesses that you might otherwise have to keep in-house. So at least for me, that's the
Yeah.
basic definition. If this is your business, all of the core functions are normally in-house. But if you,
Mm-hmm.
as a business, do not have the expertise or the capacity to handle something, you now say, I need to talk to somebody like like a partner to outsource
Mm-hmm.
my business arm, or that one of your business. For a startup, it's about bringing in experts where you need them and freeing up your time to focus or growing your business. Or oftentimes in reality, like we were discussing earlier, if you're a startup,
Mm-hmm.
you're a core of 10 people who developed a product, and now you have a product and now it's selling, right? You can probably
Yeah.
take on the selling portion because you know how to sell it, maybe in
Yeah.
your own way, but I don't know how to do legal, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, I really don't know how to do customer service the way customer service people would do it. I'm a developer. I don't have
Yeah.
time
And
to.
we do have like experience with,
Yes.
oh, I'm not dissing, but not everyone is for customer service. Like the
Mm,
demeanor, right? Like the
yeah.
friendliness that has to be there, right? Like, so that's the reason why you would outsource
Yes.
to an agency, or you would get a freelancer, so that you can focus on the development and they can do the customer support. I
Yes.
think the
You can.
other yeah, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say exactly. Not anybody is built for customer service in the same way that not
Mm,
everybody is built for sales. I am happy
yes.
to I am happy to do customer service all day, every day, but don't let me, you know, don't look at me and say, "Can you sell this pen to an Eskimo?" I will throw that pen at you and then feed you
Isn't
to an
that like a
Eskimo.
isn't the example supposed to be sell ice to an Eskimo and a pen to
Oh, sorry. Yeah,
and a pen
sell
to
this. See, that's how traumatized I am.
across.
All of the examples just.
No, no, but yeah, and it comes with like really knowing, well, one of, as we mentioned before, what you want to focus on, and two, what
Yes.
you're really good at, right? So
Yes.
for in the example that we were saying earlier regarding pest control and exterminating, right? You don't want to be managing the emails and managing your calendar, so you can actually outsource admin or VA
Admin
tasks
task.
or
Exactly.
virtual assistant. Let me just so everyone knows. So VA is a virtual assistant. So you can actually outsource that task to a VA or someone who does admin support. So we've tackled like customer support. You can outsource sales and marketing, and then you can also outsource admin, right?
You
The other
can
things,
add.
actually, I think yeah, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, let's do a rundown of commonly outsourced tasks.
Yeah,
So we were already talking admin, virtual assistants,
yeah,
which for me are some of the most common, and act
yeah.
and in reality, it's sort of like a huge umbrella of what people
Oh,
consider as
huge umbrella.
admin. Yeah, it's a huge
Yeah.
it's really a huge umbrella of how that
Mm.
looks, right? But let's talk about other tasks.
For under marketing and sales, right? So it's not just selling I
Yes.
pen to an Eskimo, no. I to an Eskimo, but like for sales, perhaps let's talk about sales. You want to be the one closing because you know all of the features, right? Like you
Yes.
You don't want to be the person who's going to be researching for phone numbers or emails for the people that you want to touch base and close a sale with. So lead generation can be outsourced. In the marketing side of things, I think a common outsourced task is social media management and content. I think those two are most of the time outsourced.
Yes. I mean, marketing, sales, there's social media, during the advent of like everything is marketing on Facebook and TikTok. I think that's the reason why you have a lot of like really, really successful social media agencies is because, we know how social media works. I actually love the, just to give this example of when the Gen Z lingo started popping up. And then the boomers were all trying to, how do we do marketing the Gen Z way? And then you have all of these boomer real estate people saying like, look at this. No cap. I
don't understand a word.
So much Riz.
But then again, I'm not. Yeah, but then again, I'm not Gen Z, so it's.
I am not Gen. We are not Gen Z.
Although you would understand the virality of it, because it is a little bit funny. Even though in real estate, it's usually like millennials, boomers that are buying the houses and whatnot, right? But
yeah, but that's the genius of that kind of social media marketing, and that your job is to sell houses, not find out the best way to sell houses, right? That's the job of that. That's the job of the and that's really how big the content creation scope has begun. The genius of it. So don't focus on that. Focus on getting the right partner for it. So, I mean, what else? I mean, there's IT and development.
Web design. Web design. I think also cybersecurity. Even the development of the actual software can be outsourced. What about finance, Francis?
Finance. I mean, everything. I mean, especially as soon as you start getting a few people on roll and then you're doing payroll, trust me, when you've been doing payroll the wrong way, you'll never want to do it and you discover how to do it the right way, you'll never want to do it the other. Yeah, you never want to go back to it again.
I think it's because you and I know that I know, like, after doing several months of bookkeeping that I wasn't cut out for it. It's not that I can't do it, it's just it's not for me.
Oh wait, you did bookkeeping, I did payroll.
I did. You did. So right now, you kind of know that it's not. You don't find the enjoyment out of it as opposed to something else, right? So,
I was waiting I was waiting to I was waiting to meet Mariconda in person and say, "Does this spark you joy?" No. No, like no. And I think to speak of this. So even though we didn't outsource, one of the things that we quickly found out in our business is that we needed help with finance and accounting.
Yeah.
And then that's sort of like discovering again because we can't use our company in terms of what companies to outsource, but it's discovering which things that we needed help with. I think very early on it was definitely finance. And then was it operations or HR?
I think marketing was next.
Oh yeah.
It was marketing first.
Yeah, because we needed help website, putting out ads. Yes. And then we went HR. Because so we didn't do HR because I think in the beginning it was easier to manage like just a few people and then us. And then by the time that we reached a certain number, we said we need help with HR and recruitment. Yep. So speaking of HR and recruitment, HR and recruitment is talent sourcing, recruitment. Definitely when it starts becoming, I need 10 people hired, which means you're interviewing yesterday, which means
I just heard recently.
Yeah. And you can only do so much posting on Facebook groups
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah, we heard yesterday, very, very recently. When did
yeah.
you need this? Yesterday. Last year.
Yeah. And I think in the outsourcing realm, there's a lot of misconceptions about it, right? So we'll
Yes.
tackle just a few of them. One myth that I've heard also recently is that we're small. Why would we outsource? Like it's just for big companies. And I think that's coming from the usual definition of outsourcing, which is outsourcing a certain process. And when people think about a process, it has to be all streamlined already, all written out.
No.
And so sometimes people would think that you can only outsource if you have it all figured out yourself. So no, actually, most of our clients are startups, and I think they're the ones who need our help the most. Francis,
Yes.
what have you heard as a myth in outsourcing?
No, I just wanted to write that. I mean, one of the biggest myths, apart from saying we're only a small company, we're
Mm-hmm.
thinking maybe one or two. That's the reality of it. Like maybe they want to try one. The other thing is the perennial standoff of how much is it gonna cost. Most companies
Yeah.
seem to think that the that the outsourcing aspect is going to be expensive. Well, on the other hand,
Mm-hmm.
I'll just add to this myth that sometimes they do find it expensive, but on the other hand, sometimes they think it's dirt cheap. If if I mean, there are
No, that's
extreme
true.
there are
That's true.
extremes in both the sides. Like how much is it going to cost? Like setup or that it's going to require a minimum of 10 people. So start. It's still a big company myth that we can't afford more than 3 people, and they think that maybe not a lot of companies will make patol them. So apart from the expense, on the other hand, there are a lot of companies that have made outsourcing to agencies.
Mm-hmm.
uh, what's the word? There are companies like Fiverr, which of course you try to outsource one-off jobs, and that's fine. Um, but in reality, building long-term quality relationships
Yeah.
with an entire arma. We're not just talking like you know uh getting 1 or 2 people. Doesn't mean that you're ready to pay like. So how much did it cost? $1 a month? Yeah, no. So it's neither too expensive or too cheap. That's just
Yeah.
the point. But if you go to the part where I need the right partner that says it's cost effective, should be the right
Mm-hmm.
word for me in the long term, rather than hiring something with the commitment, because that's the problem with expense. And then on the other hand, it's also about um the long term commitment of it.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the things that you want to look like. Scalability allows you to say, can I try it for a few months and not be tied
Yeah.
down for a long-term contract, or maybe hire it for a year and not commit to a long-term contract, rather than from your home doing it in-house, where you immediately have to commit um to other company required mandatory benefits, which goes beyond the
Yes.
dollar per hour cost there. And then one more. And maybe we have one more myth, Penny.
I think one more myth that we've heard as well is that companies will lose control if they start to outsource. It's probably coming from and I'm not saying like this is all encompassing or this is the only reason why people feel like you lose control if you outsource. It's probably also coming from your some companies' interaction with outsource agencies, right? Or for example, they call their utility where it's either telephone, power, whatever it is, and the support arm is outsourced. It can also come from that experience, talking to an outsource and having kind of a disconnect with getting answers and
Yep.
how they're answered. Like the brand voice is so different.
Yeah.
It's all verbatim and things like that. It could also come from that. But really, if you think about it, outsourcing and partnering with an agency or freelancer, whichever you want to go with, it's not just a set it up and forget it. It's
Yeah.
supposed to be a long-term partnership. So if something isn't working for you, you should bring it up to your partner agency, or you should bring it up to your freelancer, so that you and them, you're all aligned. So it's not really losing control. It's more of making sure that you are on the same page.